Moving on from the U.S. to a subject that most diplomats wouldn't be perhaps too comfortable with. A military base in the U.S., one of the largest ones, and a vital source of troops to send overseas. Reporting from the vicinity of Lakewood, state of Washington, Rebecca Foster tells us how Americans feel about the U.S. intervening in Syria.
One of the U.S.'s biggest bases and a key supplier of troops overseas, the military community surrounding Joint Base Lewis McChord in Lakewood, Washington, is a good place to gauge whether the U.S. public supports military intervention in Syria. Yellow ribbons show how troops are always on the town's mind when they are called away. And outside their premises, restaurants keep a tally of the soldiers that have fallen in combat. Throughout the town, residents expressed a common sentiment. The years of war have put a toll on the community, and they don't think U.S. intervention in Syria is a good or necessary idea.
You know, when 9/11 happened and everything, we had a lot to fight for because we were hit on our own turf. But to go outside the boundaries of that and just go over to a war and maybe create a World War III in that aspect over something that doesn't have anything to do with this at this point is wrong. And I think the community is feeling very strongly with that because we weren't hit on our turf, you know, so there's no reason to go over there.
When people are away, you know, serving, you know, the families suffer a little bit, you know. You know, they're missing their husband or their wife, whoever is active duty, you know, they're missing them, you know. I mean, it's never a good thing to have to send people away, you know.
Bob, like many other people in this military community, spends his time in the local hangout galloping Gerties. Owner Sue Rothwell explained that her goal is to create an atmosphere where soldiers can relax and feel at home.
We don't like to see the troops leave. We like them home. But if they have to go, then there's always a big farewell. There's always hugs. We give them little red hearts that say, "I love Gerties." And we say that brings you home safely, and 9 times out of 10 it does, and they come back and bring their hearts.
Chief Warrant Officer Nick Punamata recently retired after 30 years in the Army. He has witnessed how years of wars in the Middle East have taken their toll on the Lewis McChord base.
On Lewis McChord, we've had our share of deaths during the war. That doesn't even count some of the deaths that have been side effects of it. We've had a lot of injuries, you know, wounded soldiers come back, and that's really very evident here on the base as you see the warrior transition, the rehabilitation facilities here on McChord, or on Lewis McChord. It is a point where I think some of the dependents have felt, you know, was the cost, you know, worth, worth our involvement.
Whenever a war is called, its impacts are felt throughout all of Lakewood. One organization that works to care for soldiers is called Coffee Strong, a support group run by veterans. Andrew Wright, co-director of the program and an Army vet himself, explained that low support for intervention in Syria is in part due to the toll past conflicts have taken on the American public.
I think people just really recognize that, you know, it's quite the undertaking. It's, you know, a lot of destruction, a lot of lost loved ones, a lot of effects that are going to go on for generations, and that it's, you know, not worth that cost. There are other ways to handle situations.
While politicians continue to debate the right course of action in Syria, one thing is for certain. When the U.S. goes to war, it is not only the soldiers themselves, but their loved ones and the entire community at large who have to pay the price. I'm Rebecca Foster for Telesur in Seattle.